you should have all the answers on Mouse, shouldn't you? What do we do? What are the sort of basic steps we can do to start cutting the bills?
It would be brilliant to have a sort of magic bullet.
Yeah.
There are no magic bullets, but there are a few practical things that you could think about doing if you haven't already done them. So one quick top tip, again, if you haven't already done it, especially hard when the weather is cold like this morning, but if you can afford to drop your thermostat just by 1 degree, it's amazing how much that will save. It's about 10% of your energy bills, which for a typical household over the next 12 months could be as much as £250, even £300. So, small tip, could go a long way.
Oh, you see, that's interesting. So that could be instantly sort of 25, 30 quid a month better off.
Exactly.
Just by 1 degree?
Just by 1 degree.
We could all do that.
We could all do that. Of course, easier in the summer than in the winter. And we have to look forward a little bit here. We know what's coming down the pipe in October, which is the energy rises that we saw yesterday are going to go up again, probably by another £600, £700, £800. So again, we have to get ahead of that and begin to start making the plans today. Other little practical tips you could make, if you're out of contract for any of your broadband or mobile services, if you haven't renewed any of your insurance policies recently, if you're out of contract with those services, they will probably have increased the prices on you. So it's a really good time to check what you've got in contract and what you've got out of contract. So there are online tools to help you do this. Make a list of all your bills, use a service like ours at Now.co, make sure you've got a list of all the things you're paying for each month and go through each of those one by one. However, I want to be realistic. The savings from these kinds of moves are only going to be a small amount of the extra cost increases that we're forecasting. So unfortunately, what that really means is our top tip for people is get smart and make a plan. And that plan might have some tough love in it. It might involve some really hard choices for households over the next 12 months.
What?
You might have to think about deferring expenditure. You might have to think about cancelling or significantly scaling back your holiday plans. If you don't have savings, you might have to think about where you're going to get extra access to affordable credit, or otherwise find other ways of making pretty significant cost savings in your life. Now, I know that's not news anyone wants to hear over their breakfast, but I'm afraid it's probably the reality for most families unless the government makes very dramatic steps beyond what we've seen so far